Imagine you are standing on a quiet, windswept ridge in a remote corner of the Canadian Rockies. The air is thin. The ground is composed of crumbling shale, and for miles in every direction, there is nothing but gray stone and ancient silence. You pick up a flat slab of rock, no bigger than your palm, and give it a sharp tap with a geological hammer. The stone splits perfectly down the middle, and as the two halves fall away, your heart skips a beat. Pressed into the silt of a prehistoric ocean floor is a creature so bizarre, so intricate, and so perfectly preserved that it looks like it was etched there yesterday. But this isn't just any bug or leaf. This is a fossil from the Cambrian explosion, over 500 million years old. And here is the part that is sending shockwaves through every university and museum on the planet. This specific creature possesses a biological feature that, according to everything we thought we knew about evolution, shouldn't have appeared for another 100 million years. It is a biological glitch in the matrix of deep time. Today, we are diving into the incredible story of the McLean-Burgess discovery, a find that is literally ripping up the timeline of life on Earth and forcing us to rethink how we, and every other living thing on this planet, actually got here. To understand why this discovery is such a massive deal, we have to talk about the Cambrian explosion. Scientists often call this the Big Bang of biology. For billions of years, life on Earth was boring. It was mostly just single-celled slime, algae, and maybe some very simple squishy sponges. But then, around 540 million years ago, something snapped in a geological blink of an eye. Nearly every major group of animals we know today suddenly appeared in the fossil record. We got eyes, we got teeth, we got legs, and we got shells. It was the birth of complexity. For 100 years, we thought we had this timeline mapped out. We thought we knew the order in which these features evolved. But this new fossil, recently unearthed in a previously overlooked layer of the Burgess Shale, has just proven that the explosion was even more explosive than we ever dared to imagine. The creature has been named Unearthed, and at first glance, it looks like a cross between a shrimp and a nightmare. It has a segmented body, a pair of nozzle-like appendages near its mouth, and a series of delicate feather-like gills along its sides. But when researchers at the Royal Ontario Museum put this specimen under a high-powered electron microscope, they saw something that made them drop their instruments. Inside the creature's head, perfectly mineralized in carbon, was a complex tripartite brain. Now, why does a brain matter so much? Because according to our traditional evolutionary models, complex brains with distinct specialized regions were supposed to be a much later invention. We thought early Cambrian creatures had very simple bundles of nerves, nothing more than a basic on-off switch for movement. But Unearthed had a brain with a dedicated forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. This means that 500 million years ago, while life was supposedly just figuring out how to crawl, this creature was already processing complex visual data, managing sophisticated social behaviors, and perhaps even showing the very first glimmers of what we would call intelligence. It's like finding a smartphone in a Victorian tomb. This discovery is a major pivot point in recent scientific discoveries because it suggests that the hard drive of animal life, the basic blueprint for the complex nervous system, was finalized much earlier than we thought. It means that the common ancestor of almost everything alive today, from fish to birds to humans, was already carrying the architecture for a complex brain 500 million years ago. We didn't evolve complexity over hundreds of millions of years of slow trial and error. It seems that nature hit the turbo button right at the start and got the most difficult part, the brain, right almost immediately. But it isn't just the brain. The preservation of this fossil is so incredible that scientists have been able to map out the creature's entire circulatory system. They found a complex, centralized heart and a network of blood vessels that reach every corner of its body. Before this find, we assumed that circulatory systems from this era were open, where blood just kind of sloshes around inside the body cavity like soup in a bowl. But Unearthed had a closed system, just like ours. It had veins and arteries. It was built for high-performance living. This tells us that the Cambrian oceans weren't just full of slow-moving scavengers. They were home to high-speed, high-metabolism predators that were much more advanced than we ever gave them credit for. The discovery has also sparked a debate about the trigger of the Cambrian explosion. We used to think it was a slow rise in oxygen levels or the development of the first eyes that started an arms race between predators and prey. But if creatures were already this advanced at the very beginning, it suggests that the real secret might lie in the genetic code itself. Some researchers are now looking into the idea of hidden complexity. They believe that the instructions for complex hearts, brains, and limbs were already tucked away in the DNA of that simple primeval slime, waiting for the right environmental key to unlock them. The McLean-Burgess fossil is the smoking gun for this theory. It shows life didn't climb a ladder. It exploded out of a gate. Let's talk about the specific environment where this was found. The Burgess Shale is famous for its Lagerstätte, a German word for a site with extraordinary fossil preservation. 500 million years ago, this area was a muddy seafloor at the base of a massive underwater cliff. Occasionally, huge mudslides would happen, burying everything in an instant and sealing it off from oxygen and scavengers. This instant burial is what allows us to see the soft tissues, the brains, the guts, and the hearts that usually rot away long before they can turn to stone. The fact that we found a new, even more advanced layer of this shale suggests that we have only scratched the surface. There could be thousands of other impossible species waiting just a few feet deeper in the rock. The process of unearthing this fossil was a feat of engineering in itself. Because the Burgess Shale is located in a protected national park, scientists can't just bring in bulldozers. They have to fly in by helicopter, live in remote camps for weeks, and use hand tools to carefully split thousands of slabs of rock. For every Unearthed they find, they might split 10,000 empty rocks. It is a game of extreme patience and geological luck. But when they found this specimen, they knew instantly that the effort was worth it. The dark, silvery sheen of the fossil against the gray shale was a signal from the deep past that a major secret was being revealed. But what does this mean for us, the humans of the 21st century? It changes our perspective on our own biology. We like to think of ourselves as the pinnacle of a long, slow climb toward perfection. But the McLean-Burgess find suggests that the core of what makes us us, our ability to think, our heart, our circulation, has been around for 500 million years. We are just using an ancient, incredibly successful template that was perfected in a prehistoric ocean. We are the latest models of a very old and very advanced design. It's a humbling thought. We aren't the authors of complexity. We are just the beneficiaries of it. Furthermore, this discovery has massive implications for the search for life on other planets. If complex brains and circulatory systems can appear so quickly on Earth, then the bar for complex life in the universe might be much lower than we thought. We don't necessarily need billions of years of perfect stability for intelligent life to evolve. If the conditions are right, biology can solve the problem of complexity in a heartbeat. This makes moons like Europa or planets in other solar systems much more exciting. We might not be looking for just microbes. We might be looking for impossible brains in alien oceans. The Unearthed fossil also challenges our understanding of extinction and survival. This creature belonged to a group that eventually vanished, but its blueprints, the heart and the three-part brain, survived in other lineages that led to us. It shows that while species come and go, the great ideas of evolution are nearly indestructible. Once nature figures out how to build a high-performance brain, that design stays in the library forever. We are living proof of the success of the Cambrian experiments. As the team at the museum continues to analyze the McLean-Burgess find, they are using 3D X-ray tomography to look inside the rock without breaking it. They are finding even more details. The individual lenses in the creature's eyes, the traces of its last meal in its gut, and even the microscopic textures of its skin. Each new detail confirms the same thing. This was a sophisticated, high-energy animal. It handled the world with a level of sensory awareness that shouldn't have existed. It could see in color, it could sense vibrations in the water, and it could navigate its environment with surgical precision. This recent scientific discovery is also a reminder of how much we still don't know about our own home. We have mapped the surface of the Moon and Mars in incredible detail, but we still have vast gaps in our knowledge of the Earth's history. There are entire eras of life that are hidden from us because the right rocks haven't been found yet. Each new fossil is like a single frame from a movie that is 1 billion hours long. Finding Unearthed is like finding a high-definition frame in the middle of a grainy, silent film. It changes the context of everything that comes before and after. The researchers are also looking at the chemistry of the shale itself. They found that in the McLean-Burgess layer, there was a unique concentration of rare minerals that helped preserve the soft tissues with unprecedented detail. This chemical snapshot tells us about the ancient ocean's composition. It seems that 500 million years ago, the water was much richer in certain salts that acted as a natural pickling agent for the creatures buried in the mud. This environmental fluke is the only reason we are able to see the brain of a creature from the dawn of time. Let's talk about the three-part brain again, because that is the real game changer. In modern biology, the forebrain is responsible for high-level processing. The midbrain handles sensory input, and the hindbrain controls motor functions. Finding this division in Unearthed means that the labor division of the brain is one of the oldest rules in nature. It wasn't something that mammals or even reptiles invented. It was there at the very start of the animal kingdom. This suggests that processing power is the primary advantage in the game of life. As soon as predators appeared, nature realized that the only way to survive was to think better and faster than the other guy. This arms race led to the world we see today, but Unearthed shows us that the race was already at a fever pitch 500 million years ago. Imagine the Cambrian Ocean, a world of shimmering, alien creatures, some with 5 eyes, some with armor, some that looked like floating carpets. And in the middle of it all, this advanced swimmer with a high-tech heart and a complex brain, outmaneuvering its rivals. It's a vision of the past that is much more dynamic and modern than we ever imagined. It wasn't a world of simple slowness. It was a world of intense competition and biological innovation. As the news of the McLean-Burgess fossil spreads, it is inspiring a new generation of paleontologists. They are realizing that the big discoveries aren't all in the past. We are entering a new golden age of fossils, where new technology allows us to see things in the stone that were invisible to previous generations. We are finding the invisible organs of the past. This isn't just about old bones. It's about the operating system of life itself. The story of Unearthed is also a story of resilience. This creature's lineage may be gone, but the code for its brain and heart lives on in you. Every time your heart beats, every time you think a complex thought, you are using technology that was tested and perfected in the Cambrian mud 500 million years ago. You are a walking, talking museum of ancient engineering. This fossil doesn't just rewrite the story of life on Earth. It connects you directly to it. It shows that you aren't an accidental newcomer. You are part of a very old, very successful plan. What's truly exciting is that the McLean-Burgess site is still being excavated. The team has identified 3 more layers of shale that they haven't even touched yet. If Unearthed was in the first layer, what is in the second? Is there something even more advanced? Is there a creature with an even more complex nervous system? The possibility that we might find proto-intelligence or even more sophisticated circulatory designs is very real. We are at the beginning of a new chapter in the history of our planet. The discovery also highlights the importance of protecting our geological heritage. These sites are like the library of the Earth. Each slab of rock is a page. If we lose these sites to development or neglect, we lose the only record we have of where we came from. The McLean-Burgess site is a reminder that the answers to the big questions, who are we? How did we get here? Are literally written in the stones beneath our feet. We just have to be curious enough to look. The international community of scientists is now collaborating to compare the Unearthed data with fossils from China and Australia. They are finding that this high-tech blueprint was widespread. It wasn't just a local miracle in Canada. It was a global standards update for biology. 500 million years ago, the entire planet went through a hardware upgrade. This global perspective is what allows us to see the big picture of evolution. It shows that life doesn't just happen in isolation. It's a planet-wide phenomenon. One of the most profound lessons from the McLean-Burgess fossil is that nature doesn't waste time. When an opportunity for complexity arises, nature takes it. The jump from slime to hearts and brains happened with a speed that is almost frightening. It tells us that life is an incredibly powerful force that is constantly pushing against the boundaries of the possible. We are just the current frontrunners in an explosion of complexity that has been going for 500 million years. As we look at the illustrations of what Unearthed looked like in life, it is hard not to feel a sense of kinship. It's a strange, alien-looking thing, but it has a heart that beats and a brain that thinks. It faced the same basic challenges that we do. Find food, avoid danger, and find a place in the world. It did those things 500 million years ago, with the same biological tools we use today. It is our ancient cousin. The discovery of Unearthed is more than just a scientific breakthrough. It is a chronicle of life. It reminds us that our history doesn't start with the first humans, or even the first mammals. Our history starts in the Precambrian mud, where the first impossible brains began to flicker with the sparks of awareness. Every recent scientific discovery in this field is a gift from the deep past, a letter from our ancestors telling us how they survived so that we could be here today. The researchers at the Royal Ontario Museum are currently preparing a world tour exhibit for the McLean Burgess fossils. They want people to see the stone brains for themselves. They want you to stand in front of that slab of rock and realize that you are looking at the foundation of your own existence. It is a powerful experience that bridges the gap between millions of years in a single moment. As we conclude this journey into deep time, let us take a moment to appreciate the sheer luck of find. If that mudslide hadn't happened at exactly that second, if the minerals in the water hadn't been exactly right, if that specific slab of rock hadn't been split by exactly that geologist, we would never have known. Unearthed would have stayed hidden in the silence for another 500 million years. It shows how much our understanding of the world depends on these rare, beautiful moments of discovery. The McLean Burgess discovery is a wake-up call. It tells us that we should never stop asking questions, never stop splitting rocks, and never stop being amazed by the world around us. The story of life on Earth is much more incredible, much more complex, and much older than we ever dreamed. We are part of a lineage of impossible survivors who have been thriving and thinking and beating their hearts since the very beginning of complexity. So keep following the science, keep looking at the rocks, and never lose that sense of wonder. The past is not gone. It is just waiting to be unearthed. And as we find more pieces of the puzzle, the picture of our own life becomes clearer and more magnificent. Unearthed is just the beginning. The Burgess Shale has millions of years of secrets left to tell, and we are the ones who get to hear them. The story of the 500-million-year-old fossil is a reminder that we live on a planet of mysteries. It is a story of hearts that beat in the dark, brains that thought in the silence, and a through line of life that connects us all. It is the greatest story ever told, and it's still being written in the stone. Stay curious, stay informed, and always remember that the best secrets are the ones that have been kept for 500 million years. Thank you for joining me on this incredible exploration of the McLean Burgess discovery. The world is an amazing place, and the deep history of our planet is the ultimate adventure. Keep your eyes on the ground and your mind open to the impossible, because you never know what the next split of a rock might reveal. The future of science is built on the foundations of the past, and those foundations are more advanced than we ever imagined. Every recent scientific discovery brings us closer to understanding the true nature of life and our place in the web of time. Unearthed is a shimmering light from the Cambrian Sea, reflecting the brilliance of nature's design. Let it inspire you to think about the depth of your own history and the incredible luck that brings us all here together. The explosions of the past are what created the beauty of the present. The fossils are waiting. The shale is thin, and the secrets of the earth are finally coming to light. Stay curious, stay skeptical of the impossible, and never stop being amazed by the wonders of our living planet. The best is yet to come, and the story of life is far from over. Until next time, keep exploring the wonders of reality, both ancient and new. The stars are beautiful, but the rocks are where the real story is hidden. Stay inspired by the science, and I'll see you in the next one.